Hello, Jack here, and today I just wanted to tell a story about a memory that I unlocked recently, which is the memory of that time I got outed as trans during a job interview. So let me set up the context here. At this point, I've been on testosterone for probably about a year, maybe a little bit longer. I'm freshly out of college with a new IT degree, but I am on unemployment because I had been employed and lost my job recently. I'm really desperate for a job at this point. I've been on unemployment for just too long, and I'm at the point where my dad is really laying a lot of pressure on me to go work for a fast food place or a store, but neither of those places want to hire me because I have multiple college degrees and they know I'll just leave as soon as I find something better. I find a job that's in my field but has a really vague name and no noted industry in the job application, but I apply anyway because I'm qualified for it, and I get an interview. It's a phone technical support position, which is something I'll find years later I'm actually really good at, and they just love me. I slam this interview and they offer me a job on the spot. There's a problem, though, that will come up shortly. The job is for the police department, and at this point I'm having really complicated emotions about this because I do not want to work for a police department, but I'm also desperate. I'm not supposed to turn down work while I'm on unemployment, and they're offering me almost twice as much money for this position as I made at my most high-paying job at that point. So I'm hardcore mentally justifying taking this job that I absolutely do not want. So I accept the position, and they warn me that the background check process is really involved. Like, the form that I'll need to fill out is many pages long and extremely in-depth, and it'll be looked at by the sheriff. So if I've done any crimes, they're going to find out about it. Now at that point, and now for come to think of it, I had not committed any crimes, at least none severe enough to have given me a criminal record. So I say, yeah, there shouldn't be anything on there, but the interviewer, or at least one of the interviewers, decides that during the interview, we can just take a peek to see if there's anything you need to worry about before we commence with this, and I commit to this background check. Now, in Wisconsin, there's something called CCAP, which is a website that you can use to do sort of a surface search of people's public court records. I'm sure other states have similar things, but here it's called CCAP, and it's really well known, and occasionally it's used as a verb. So in high school I had classmates who CCAP'd our teachers to tease them for speeding tickets that they got while they were limousine drivers in college or whatever. My first date with my girlfriend, she asked me if my Facebook name was my legal name, and I remarked, yes, you can CCAP me, because I don't have any weird crimes to hide. So the main interviewer goes to his computer, and I immediately know that he's going to CCAP me, and I also know there's only one record that you are going to find for me on CCAP, which is my legal name change that I got in 2009. I maintain my best poker face, but I know exactly what's about to happen. He notices that when he puts my name in, it pops up a single record, and he gets really visibly nervous. It's clear that his first thought was that I have committed some sort of crime against this Jacqueline who has popped up on the screen. Who is Jacqueline, he asks me, and I tell him that this is a name change court order. That is my old name, so it's not a crime, just a court order. He turns around in his chair, and the other two interviewers are dead silent. Everybody is dead silent. It is very awkward. So, you used to be female, he says. Yes, I reply. There is a pause before he tells me, yeah, that's fine, no problem there. So he emails me this giant wad of a form that I'm supposed to fill out for this background check, and I go to start filling it out. So the high from getting offered what at the time was a pretty high-paying job, and everybody reassuring me that it was fine that I was trans, it had gradually worn off on the drive home, but it abruptly just dissipated entirely as soon as I look through this background check paperwork that I'm supposed to fill out. It's really detailed. It's asking me essentially every single living relative and every crime I'm aware that they've ever committed. It's asking me every organization or club I've been a part of in my life. And then I get to the best part where it asks me specifically if I've been a member of any communist, socialist, anarchist, or white supremacist groups. And yeah, not that last one, obviously, but Folks, I am a trans man who went to college for like 9 years. Of course I've been a member of a communist party. I've also been involved in anarchist collectives a couple of times, and I used to have a decently popular radical queer blog way back in the day. Now, I was not involved with any of these groups anymore by the time our story takes place, but there really is no way for me to lie on this forum even if I wanted to, and I immediately know that even if my shaky mental justification for working for the same police department featured on Making a Murderer hadn't already worn off on the car ride home, there was just no way I was going to be able to pass this background check. That sheriff was going to take one look at that form and nope me right the fuck out of there. So I decide I'm not going to bother, and I email them to say that I can't take this job because of the background check. I then immediately get a phone call from the main interviewer who assumed from my email that the problem was that I had not wanted them to know that I was trans and I was embarrassed by being outed, because he's desperately trying to convince me over the phone that me being trans is not going to be a problem. They're all totally fine. They love me. They want to hire me. And personally, I've been pretty fortunate to have had relatively few really bad experiences with being outed, so this definitely was not the problem, but he definitely thought that this was the problem, and there was no convincing him of otherwise. He was practically begging me to take this job, and in retrospect, it was probably because nobody wants to work for the police department featured in Making a Murderer. So I'm trying to explain why I know that I can't do this background check without implying that I have done a crime that I have not done, and without admitting that I was a member of the Communist Party for a while. So I say I am merely uncomfortable being asked political questions, which he doesn't understand at all, because this is America, where being asked if you have ever been a member of the Communist Party is somehow apparently not a political question. So anyway, that's it. I got outed during a job interview. I was offered the job, and I wound up having to turn it down anyway because they weren't going to hire a pinko. Until next time, comrades, happy trails.